Well, you're welcome back if you've been out to make a cup of tea, and back into the smart television, wherever you are in the world, or back to the computer. And thank you for logging in. We're with you for another hour and a half here on Destination Newry. It's the morning programme out of the heart of Newry to the world. So whether you're listening in Manitoba or in Manhattan, whether you're in Sydney or Saville, it's all the same thing. We're speaking to you live from Newry, and very glad to be making contact with you. The lady on the sofa now is Joanna Quigley, great violinist of the Newry Chamber Music Group. You're most welcome, Joanna. How are you?
I'm great.
Great stuff. It's true to say, and you won't say it, but I will say it, you're a musical icon in Newry, and you went on to create with others the Newry Chamber Music Group.
Yes, well, Newry Chamber Music is something that I run with David, my brother, who's a concert pianist.
Yes.
And it kind of was organic, its formation. You know, when we had our first platform when we were growing up in Newry on the stage of Newry Fesh.
Yes.
In the Arts Centre. So
with Mum taking you down there and sitting, waiting for the hours for it to be completed.
Yeah. David had to be propped up on cushions. He was so small, you know, for the piano. And but then as we went on to study music at college in England, during holidays we would come back and we would do a concert together, and that's how Newry Chamber Music came about, really. So it began with us doing concerts, and then as we got more into the profession, we met lots more people doing the same kind of thing as us. So we were able to invite friends to come and play, and so now it's developed into this music society, which we try to put on 6 to 8 concerts a year.
Wow.
And it's very international. We had just 2 weeks ago we had Celine Byrne, who's an amazing Irish soprano, making great shapes in the world of opera.
I suppose I have to take you first of all to where it all began, because you're up there at the very top of the tree there in orchestral music. But where did it commence? Where did the whole thing begin at home? Was there a provenance of music within the family?
Well, neither of my parents are musicians or play anything, and I would say that my mother especially is very naturally musical, but there was no history of certainly not classical music. There would have been trad music, you know, in my parents' family.
But they had the wisdom to invest in you and your brother.
Well, it was kind of an accident at the beginning, because they bought a piano,
as mothers do.
Yeah, and my mum used to tinkle on the ivories just by ear herself, and then there's 4 of us, so they sent the 4 of us to piano lessons on Canal Street with Miss Dent, Dorothy Haynes Dent.
Dorothy Haynes Dent.
Yeah, who was a bit of a legend.
Absolutely.
Around here, and she was a fairly tough teacher, and but she was a really great teacher. Actually, she really knew her stuff in terms of what you need technically. You know, that's the main problem with playing complex instruments like the piano and the violin. And actually, it was her who. She recommended to my father that we'd learn an orchestral instrument as well. So my 2 older brothers weren't that mad keen on the piano, and then David and I both started on the violin.
And that's what happened.
With Yvonne Donnelly in Dundalk, and then this famous priest, Father McNally.
Wow.
I don't know if you've heard of him.
In Dundalk. Yes, I've heard of this man.
Anyone from around here who's a professional violinist.
But you mentioned technical excellence. It's to reach the zenith of perfect musicality. You need more than the technical excellence. You need to have the ability to warm into the instrument and to allow the instrument to warm into you. I'm talking about soul, and I'm talking about passion. I'm talking a kind of I think that not everyone has a natural marriage between the instrument and the player.
No, and I think technically you could teach anyone to play the violin if they, the mechanics of it. But you're right, you can't. I don't think that the extra innate kind of musicality.
It's that sort of movement when you start to go with it and flow with it.
You can teach it to an extent, or you can lead a student in a way, or I mean, basically, it all comes down to how you sing. So how you play the violin is how you sing. How you play any musical instrument, it's
how you do it.
It's how you sing. So
are you going to play for me now?
I'll play you a little,
and then we'll talk about how people can support Newry Chamber Music. What are you going to play?
I'm going to play a little Irish.
Wow,
number.
lovely. Thank you so much. Really didn't want you to stop there. It was so beautiful, you know, and it's breathtakingly wonderful. It almost takes you onto the clouds of Elysium. This great sound that plucks the heartstrings. It's more than that. It's just wonderful. It is. Can you remember the first time you got a satisfactory note out of a violin?
No, it's a funny thing. I can't actually remember sounding awful. I'm sure I did, and that my older brothers would tell you that I did, but you know, the beginning stages of playing the violin are kind of excruciating for whoever has to listen to you.
And hard on the fingers of the person playing.
Well, probably. I mean, I think 6 or 7 when I started.
Yeah.
And we have some video evidence of the early days, but I think the clincher for me in terms of when I thought this is what I want to do was when I was 11 or 12. I got into the National Youth Orchestra of Ireland,
yes,
and that was a whole new world for me. I'd never
yeah.
been in this kind of huge symphonic situation before, and I was totally lost for the first few days. I didn't know
lost, but no fear.
I wouldn't say no fear. I mean, I think I started on the 13th desk of second violins, which is as far back as you can go. I was actually in the wings of the Gaiety for the first concert.
Yeah.
So and you're surrounded by much more advanced people.
Oh, your mic. Let Sean, can we do that for you?
No.
Let me do that for you. Can you? These things have a way of jumping off.
Yeah,
well, you got it. Well done. So, let me do it for you. This is part and parcel of live television, folks. There we are. Let me do this for you. Now, where are we here? Yeah, there we are. Oh, yes. Yeah, you got it there. Yes, you got it. Down. There we are. We got it. Sorry about that. But I mean, that's the lovely thing. We get all these things sorted out. So chamber music then, and you're chamber music. What is it? Chamber music ensemble? Is it?
Yeah. Chamber music. Sometimes we get letters to the house for Newry Chamber of Music, which isn't. Chamber music refers to a style of music that would have been, before there were concert halls. People
genteel.
Played in each other's
parlours.
Yes. Salon music. So it's small ensembles. Anything from 2 to about 16 would be the maximum for a chamber music concert.
And where are you taking us in the autumn series of your concerts?
Well, the autumn we have the a fantastic Irish soprano, Ailish Tynan, who is really international at this stage. She did the opening night of the Proms a few years ago, and you kind of know you made it if you're doing the first or the last night of the Proms. And she's playing a concert with David in October. And then we have the Vambra String Quartet are coming in November.
Wow.
And then we'll have our usual Christmas concert and in December. And we've hopefully got a star soprano for that. We're just in the final stages of.
So we would like, not that we need, but we'd like some sponsorship, wouldn't we?
Yes. So at the moment we have, we've started this Fund It campaign, which is a crowdfunding initiative. And the idea behind that is that many people can give a little rather than one or two people giving a lot.
Yes.
We're hoping to raise £5,000 through that. And there's a time limit on it. So if we get to 4,999 on the last day and we don't reach the 5,000, we get nothing. So it's all or nothing. So the donations start at £20 and go right up to 1,000.
And folk get tickets for that.
So you're basically buying in advance tickets or CDs. They call them rewards on the website. So it's a combination of tickets to concerts or CDs. That David and I made a CD a couple of years ago, and David's just released another disc. And then if you go to the upper end, you get a private concert with David and I, and
you could come to dinner.
Exactly.
People could be in candlelight.
Yeah, all the rewards are on their website on fundit.ie.
Now tell people very, very clearly, so there's no ambiguity, what the website is and where people get it.
Okay, so there's two routes to get there. The first is Fundit's website, which is fundit, fundit.ie. And then on our website, which maybe is easier to remember, is newrychambermusic.com. We have a link on the homepage, which takes you directly to our part of the Fundit website. Where you can
so people follow the links.
Yeah, and there's a little video on there where we're telling you a bit more about the series and something to read about Newry Chamber Music.
Is David away at the moment?
David was doing a concert yesterday, funnily in a country home, very grand country home. I think in Bath.
Yes.
So
that sounds lovely.
He's away. Lovely.
So it's fundit.ie. That's how you find out. That's how you can support Newry Chamber. And shortly coming up, a man I last met 50 years ago in Haldane and Shields' timber yard in Newry. I was tailing timber out of Jimmy Morney's machine, and he may have been doing something around the area that was John Connor on the big saw. Johnny Starr, that's his rock and roll name, I suppose, his stage name, but he's a good Newry man, and we established contact recently through Facebook, so all of that's good. You might have one more tune for me, would you? Have you anything you'd like to do? Something simple?
I can do something simple. Unaccompanied is quite difficult, you know.
Wow.
Mostly Irish.
I'll sing for you if you'd like.
Oh yeah, you sing.
Okay.
I'll give you a quick
Some
verse of the Sally Gardens.
And before we tell them, before you start, we'll remind them again. This is what you can hear at dinner in your own house, or you can come along and get tickets to the concerts and fundit, fundit.ie.
That's it.
Joanna Quigley. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, Rowan.
Thank you so much. We wish you well. We wish Joanne all the luck in the world. Thank you very much indeed, Joanne. Coming shortly, Johnny Starr on the seat, and we'll talk the talk of old Newry and yesteryear. and some talk of music as well, for goodness sake. Sean, now bring us to a lesser form of music.